Jacksonville, San Francisco, San Diego, a host of NFL teams are looking for new head coaches. The question is, will we see black coaches actually get a shot? The Rooney Rule has been in place in the NFL that was put in place led by Johnny Cochran and others to force these teams to actually interview African Americans for vacant top positions. Well, we'll see actually what happens next. Joining me right now, a couple of sports journalists. I want to get their thoughts on this. Joining us is Cari Champion of ESPN and Comcast Sports analyst Christy Winters Scott as well via FaceTime. Christy and Cari, how you doing?
Hey, doing great, Roland.
All right,
good morning.
Cari, I want to start with you first. We have these available openings in the NFL. Will we see black coaches get a shot at the top job, or the NFL keeps recycling coaches like Jeff Fisher who just keep losing?
Yeah, you know what? That's always been the mystery. How does Jeff Fisher stay gainfully employed and he doesn't produce any more than a handful of winning seasons? Roland, I have to be honest with you. I think there's a couple good candidates out there right now that look as if they could get a job. Terrell Austin, he's the DC in Detroit. He's a defensive coordinator there, and a lot of teams are after him. I think what you normally see is one black coach, normally maybe two each year, but it's not about whether or not people are adhering to the Rooney Rule, because they are interviewing these black coaches. The problem is that for whatever reasons there is a system, and we know the reasons, that is in place that makes them feel comfortable recycling people who have this reputation, and that's in air quotes.
And Christy, that's one of the issues. And when you look at Mike McCoy, losing record as a head coach, just got fired in San Diego. Okay, right. He's out there. Now they say Ken Wisenhunt might be a choice. He failed too.
Right, but when you have 88% of the 17 African-American coaches being fired after less than 2 seasons of having losing streaks, that's an issue. I think the rope isn't long enough for the African-American coaches to implement their philosophies, and I just think it's frustrating to have a coach like Mike Tomlin with the Steelers be characterized as a cheerleader when he has done nothing but do a great job there in terms of winning with his organization. So it's just frustrating. I'm not sure what the actual answer is, but we do know what the facts are, and hopefully it changes and some other coaches are given a great opportunity to expand their careers.
Who else do you see on the radar? Anthony Lynn was the coach for one game in Buffalo, Cari. You also have Vance Joseph, the brother down in Miami as well. So you have a number of brothers who are offensive coordinators, who are defensive coordinators, who are sitting there, but the good old boy network is still alive and well in the NFL.
It's called that second chance. So you gotta have people to co-sign for you, right? So if somebody like Terry Bradshaw to say that about Mike Tomlin, as Candace just referred to, he's not co-signing, but then he follows it up with, I don't really know him that well. You need to be in that club. You ought to play that political game. And a lot of these coaches don't feel comfortable. Black coaches, coordinators don't feel comfortable speaking up about this issue because they don't know who has their back. If you go with an organization like the Steelers, you're really set. They're very much true to their values. They keep their coaches. They let them to implement their play style. But a lot of these coaches don't want to speak up because they are happy just to have these OC jobs, these DC jobs, and they know when they get them, they do the best they can, but more than likely you're not going to be a Marvin Lewis and be somewhere for more than a decade and not really produce. Or you're not going to be, Mike Tomlin. This doesn't happen that way, and it's because they're not familiar. It's this club that they can't get into. Yep. They just have to keep playing this game.
Well, and it's a club they weren't born into because they were born black. Cari, we appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Christy, we appreciate it. Thanks a lot as well.
Thank you.
Go back to our panel here. I mean, that's the real deal. I mean, when you hear what you hear from these NFL owners and general managers is the same crap that black folks got to deal with in corporate America, got to deal with in this building behind us, the same thing. Yeah. Well, Chris Rock talked about it when it came to black folks getting jobs on Saturday Night Live, this whole deal of, well, who we comfortable with and stuff along those lines. And so, excuse me, I was born black.
Roland, I went to Tennessee State, so every time I see Terry Bradshaw, I'm reminded of real affirmative action. I'm reminded of Joe Jefferson's Street Gilliam, who should have had those Super Bowl rings. Terry Bradshaw is an example of affirmative action. Whiteness promotes itself. The brother at Buffalo, give him the shot. Rex Ryan gonna have another job. Chip Kelly, who ain't won nothing nowhere at the pro level, will have another shot.
Has already been head coach in two places.
Exactly.
The killer of it is when you see rookie coaches or coaches with terrible records like the Jeff Fisher thing. You know, Washington Redskins have Joe Barry, who's one of the worst defensive coaches in football, yet they can't find anyone.
Right.
Then their head coach is a rookie that they get. You know, Jay Gruden is a rookie coach.
And also, the Redskins had an awful offense this year, but their offensive coordinator is going to get a head coaching interview.
Right, exactly. All those guys get interviews. It's like, how does that happen? And they have no black head coach in the history of the franchise.
But they take that expertise. Jim Caldwell can take. I mean, in other words, they'll let them sit in those positions.
Well, actually, in Detroit, the word's out there. He's keeping his job, so he gets to stick around. real quick.
I just say name Condoleezza Rice, commissioner of the NFL.
Yeah.
There you go.
Because who's in control?
Yeah, okay. All right. Okay. All right.
That's like Bud Selig in the Hall of Fame. Right. Put Barry Bonds in.
Well, I think we also have some evidence that when you have one person black in charge, don't mean anybody below them are going to do right. A peaceful protest turned deadly. 37-year-old black man was shot and killed by Baton Rouge police. His hands are in the air, and you still get shot by the cops.
Oh my God, please don't tell me he's dead.
We're not going to let hate define us.
Race is a big part of this. If truly all lives matter, then all lives need to matter equally.
What we require is action. What we require is accountability. We understand that black lives do matter, and we will keep focused on this issue.
NewsOne Now, every weekday morning at 7 on TV1.